break. Every step you'll take, I'll be watching you. So, from our little introduction, I guess you can tell, today we're going to talk about data analytics. Hey. Very excited about this. I think it's the most interesting part, or the most for you maybe. How to analyze now your web page, your portfolio, and get relevant data out of it. So how does a data collecting process, a data process work? First, you have to define a question, a hypothesis you want to solve. Then you collect the data. Then you clean the data. You analyze the data, and then you visualize and share your findings. Those are the 5 steps it takes. So what questions we want to answer? Well, I picked out 3 questions I want to answer today with you. And you see how I use then Google Analytics to approach that and trying to solve that. First, with which devices do HR recruiters access my online portfolio? With mobile devices or web devices? Second, do job recruiters read text on my online portfolio? Or if we formulate this in a hypothesis, this would be job recruiters don't read text on a portfolio. They just skip through it very quickly in order to see if it looks good, but they don't have the time to read the project in detail. Second question. Third, what are my most viewed projects? What are my most viewed pages on my webpage or projects? It lets you figure out what people want to see. If you see HR recruiters are always looking at this one project, first of all, make sure it looks awesome. And second, how do they view you? Let's dive in collecting the data. We have our hypothesis, now we have to collect the data. So in this case, to collect the data, to answer our questions, we use Google Analytics. Why Google Analytics? Google Analytics is great to integrate in your web page. It collects a lot of things. We use Google Analytics 4. So there's Universal Analytics of Google Analytics, Universal Analytics, and Google Analytics 4. Google Analytics 4 came out recently, like at the end of 2020 or beginning of, I think it was the end of 2020. And before there was Universal Analytics, UA. So when you want to set up Google Analytics on your webpage, you're probably going to run into a lot of tutorials still for Universal Analytics. But the new Google Analytics is quite different and a bit different setting up. It's not too complex. Just keep in mind, like, Universal Analytics is the old one, but the new one is Google Analytics 4. So I decided to go with Google Analytics 4 because the new one, and it's probably has more future roadmap for Google Analytics 4 than the old one. The old one, probably there will not be added so many new things to it. So now we set it up with our webpage. How to set it up, I will not show to you. Just go on YouTube and type in how to set up Google Analytics 4. You will find plenty of videos. So here we are. That's what Google Analytics looks like on the inside. As said, this is how it looks like when you set it, once you set it up. For this, watch a YouTube tutorial, not mine. Yeah, so this is like the home screen. You can see that's how I called my property, Webflow portfolio. That's my home screen. Here you can see like users the last 7 days. Wow, 27 users, amazing. No one in the last 30 minutes, that's okay. Here we can see the countries where they came from. So here you can see 59 from Germany, wow, and 46 from the US. Oof, mind-blowing. Wow, US. Well, and then the first thing when I saw this was like, why US? Like, and it's even from the Silicon Valley. If you're gonna look cities, it's from Silicon Valley. And like, oh no, they go into my projects and they brain drain, they steal all my good ideas I put in my portfolio without hiring me. But no, truth is here. That's a good example of cleaning your data, dirty data. This is actually from Webflow when you're gonna, they have a function where you can pre-visualize the changes you made on your web page without publishing it. And this goes through a server in the US, or this happens, it gets the tag from the US. So the reason why you see 46 users from the US is because I was doing changes on my web page using those feature of pre-visualizing the changes. And I get this tag here in the US. And then also you can imagine like Pakistan, this was probably not a job recruiter. Ireland, I didn't apply in Ireland. Maybe this is from, I don't know, a VPN. And here we come quickly to the point of data cleaning. Because here we already can see in our main view, it shows us how many clicks we have on which page. So you can see here, that's my landing page. Obviously we will have most of the clicks here. The about page, like, okay, there's quite some people look at this. And here the different project pages I've set up. And here you can see like, there's no way you can get valuable insights out of those data if like 46, like the more than majority of the clicks is from myself looking in my web page. Like, useless. So how do we clean the data? I'm gonna show you. So we, you can click here. So right now we're looking at all users. So everyone who visits our page is included in this data. Everyone who visits the page and the time frames, in this case 7 days, last 60 days. Like this is the data pool we're working with. We want to reduce it now to only have people from Germany, because that's where our HR recruiters are sitting. And even better if we could narrow it more closer down inside Germany to make sure it was not like friends of mine or family or whoever like visited the web page. Yes, you can see here now it shows audience names. So if you create an audience, like this could be the shortcut for this. Include, you want to include country Germany. Okay, that's the only country we want to look at. And we want to add a new condition. It's an AND condition. There are also OR conditions, usually. But we want AND. So it fulfills country Germany and include. We're going to go now on cities. And here you can see. Wait, can I put myself away here? Okay. And here you can see all the cities of people accessing my webpage. So here I can now say like, okay, I think I applied, like COVID made our life way more difficult now too, because people are sitting now in home office, you know, before they were sitting in their office, and I knew, you know, like, okay, I know I apply in Baden-Baden. So if I get someone from Baden-Baden accessing my webpage, I can be sure that's a job recruiter or someone of that company. But now they are all sitting in their home offices, distributed all over the place, so it's not that easy anymore to pinpoint to make sure that this is someone of a company we're interested in. Like, I think Böblingen, that could be a hit. I will only include things where I think, to be sure, like better to have a little less data but right data than having more data but there's faulty things in it. I'd say Esslingen is a hit. Frankfurt, Karlsruhe, these are all cities I applied. Munich for sure. Nettetal also, I don't know this stuff here. Reutlingen, probably. I mean, I don't know friends there. That's Santa Clara. That's all the Silicon Valley guys that try to steal our ideas we put in our portfolios. Stuttgart, Unterhachingen for sure. Waldorf, that's SAP, I applied there. Zurich, I didn't apply there, but yeah, probably. But I think we already have enough data points like this. As said, we want to learn here. It's not to spy on people. And that's a very thing everyone does. It's not to spy on people. This is really to get to know how people use our website. So you shouldn't confound that. And here, at least in Europe with GDPR, like when you access web pages, you have to accept cookies. So once you're gonna do your self-data analysis like this, maybe you're gonna think twice before not allowing other people to use your data anymore. Or maybe this gives you now a reason to always exclude cookies to because you don't want to be tracked down. So we apply. It's loading. Oh, what do we get? Okay, 29 viewers from Germany. Perfect. So our first question we wanted to answer was, with which devices do HR recruiters access my online portfolio? I think we cannot see it from here. So where you have to go, you can see here are all the things you can look at: acquisition, engagement, monetization, retention. So quickly about this, acquisition is interesting if you have a web shop, for example, and you want to know how people found your web page. In my case, it's clear. I apply somewhere, I send a link with it and say, hey, click on this link, that's my portfolio. So it's not interesting for me or for us. But if I have an e-commerce store and I'm running ads, online ads, and I want to make sure to know how much value I have in these ads, like how many people are driven to my web page through those ads, that's when acquisition comes into game. Engagement, we're gonna look at this later. Monetization, yeah, if you make money, I don't make money with my portfolio. Retention, yeah. Okay, so first question, with which device do HR recruiters access my online portfolio? At here, we can see users web desktop 17 and users web mobile 4. So that's already pretty amazing to me, because I would expect like only people with web desktop, like with a desktop computer, accessing my stuff. Because if you work somewhere, you imagine them having doing it with a laptop. Like, who's checking an application on the phone? But maybe, yeah, some do it. In some situations, it may make sense to them. But we can see majority is desktop. Here, down here, we can see the donut. 81% desktop. What does this tell us? HR recruiters access our online portfolio mainly on desktop devices. So make sure it shines on desktop and on mobile, that it looks okay. So here you can even see the resolutions of the screens with which they accessed it. This can be interesting. We can see here the device models. Chrome, so most people on Chrome and Safari, and then Edge, and then very little on Internet Explorer. I don't know what this SM stuff is. Okay, maybe this could give us a hint if we are here having maybe too polluted data points. So that's part of data cleaning. Actually, you have to look at your data points and look if they make sense. So this might be, we included here something. This would have needed to be researched. Anyway, by here too, okay, make sure your web portfolio looks awesome on Chrome. It works perfectly on Chrome when you're testing. Testing is a vital part of creating whatever you do, obviously. And with web pages, you have to test with different web browsers. So first test with Chrome and Safari, make sure it looks awesome on this. Then the rest. And then even Internet Explorer, but maybe you can neglect it, was only one person, but still keep it in mind. But it's not main priority. Okay, first hypothesis answered. So we analyzed the data. Google did a job for us in visualizing it and sharing it. Like now, I would usually take a screenshot and then save it in my Figma project, which you saw in the other video, just so you store it somewhere so you don't have to redo everything again in order to memorize what you figured out. Okay, second hypothesis. Do job recruiters read text on my online portfolio? How do we figure this out? So let's go on the Home tab again. It's loading. Okay. Here we go here on view pages and screens. I think it's here part of the engagement. Yeah. Let's load it up. And down here we see a more detailed view. This is the more interesting one. So here again we have the landing page, the about page. Here CERN is my most people click on the CERN one. That's also maybe where I want to click them on, because I think it's my favorite project to share. Then we have here the portfolio HTML, we have here the case study, then design of a mobile cooking assistant app. Second. So this is, when I saw this first, it surprised me, because this design of a this case study here, I just put there for to show that I have a broad spectrum, but I actually didn't expect people to click on it that much, because it was a university project. It was not done in a company. I was expecting them to look more on the company stuff, because that's the interesting stuff, and not on a boring university project. But in fact, it's one of my most clicked projects. So when I saw this, I was shocked, and I went back into my portfolio and redid this whole page to make sure it's awesome, because in the very first release, I didn't put that much effort into it. So, but now we want to figure out actually, do job recruiters read text on my online portfolio? So what can we see here? We see the views, how many users checked it, views per users. So okay, some went twice on it because they were so amazed by it. Or not, who knows? Average time, average engagement time. So this is all done automatically in Google Analytics. I didn't here change anything. So average engagement time, 50 seconds, especially for the case study here. If you look at the CERN one, it's only 24 seconds, it's quite short. And for the others, it's also relatively short. Okay, here the case study redesign my own portfolio seems to draw more of their attention, 41 seconds. And here we have the CERN again. So here, as you can see, this would be part of data cleaning too. I changed here product design by Christopher Rauser, CERN, and here it's CERN UX design by Christopher Rauser. So this is part of data cleaning too. To actually, I would have to go into the data and tell it now this is the same page. Don't show this separately. To me, this should be merged. But well, I didn't. But I still think we can get data out of it like this. But yeah, here we can see 50 seconds. So my first reaction was actually okay, 50 seconds, that seems short. It's not even a minute. It seems like people jump on the page, they check it out, and then they move on. But then, okay, then how long is 50 seconds? This is a lot, isn't it? And then, you start thinking. So what I did, to have a reference, a benchmark, I went on my webpage. I opened this page here, the design of a mobile cooking assistant app. I put a timer, started a timer, read once through the whole page, and saw it took me around 50 seconds to read the whole page. So now I had a value to compare to when I look at the data I gathered, and I could see now, oh damn, people are reading my stuff. So our hypothesis, do job recruiters read text on my online portfolio? We can say yes, they do. So result was, okay, go back in the webpage, reread your own text and make sure it's done very well. When people already read it, they deserve to read a good text from you. Okay, so now our third hypothesis. What are my most viewed projects? Okay, I think we answered this already within here. We can see landing page was obvious. Then actually the about page with 14 views by 9 users. So not everyone goes on it. But 14 views, and then it's the CERN page. We can even here add up from this 8 views, here the 2 more that are down here. And then the others. And actually we can see that it's CERN and the mobile cooking assistant app are definitely the leading ones. And then 5 on those, and the least are redesign my own portfolio. This is the least people go on it. I think I can live with that. Otherwise, you could go now and say like, oh shit, that's my most favorite thing. I want them. Why don't they go on it? I think it's so relevant for the jobs I'm applying to. Then you could now take your data and now start doing like A/B testing, for example. I could now say I'm changing maybe the color of my projects. My projects have colors. Maybe on the landing page, I change the color of my project. And through changing the color, maybe it draws more attention to the user and then they click more on it. So you change the color, you continue collecting data until you have enough data to make a good assessment if it works. And then you compare how people clicked on this with the new color and how many people clicked on it with the old color. And then you can make a proper assumption on, okay, changing color really worked or it doesn't work, or maybe I try a new color, or maybe I try a new thing, like, okay, maybe they are sorted. Let us look at my webpage, the holy site. Here we have CERN. So most viewed project. Why? Probably because it's at the very top as well, and it has the image is kicking ass and CERN is kicking ass. So, but being positioned at the top might help. And here, like, redesign my own portfolio is at the very bottom of the page. So this could be the reason why the least people look at it. Another reason could be that if I go inside, here I'm showing here 3 projects, and redesigning my own portfolio is not part of it. So maybe this could be also a reason. So you see, you have different factors and you can now play around with them. And when you play around with them, you could recollect data, and then you collect your new data with the old data, and you can see if this really had an impact and if it really went in the direction you wanted it to go. Hey, so I hope I could show you one thing or two, and that you could get an idea of how I use Google Analytics on my webpage in order to analyze user behavior and give you an idea of how you can use it and how data analysis is like commonly done on web pages in general. Like, this is a very easy example. It's just a portfolio. We don't have really targets, key performance indicators we can observe, like saying if you have an online shop, it's maybe even easier because there you can say how many people end up buying the product, and then you can say like, okay, what do I have to modify so more people buy the product in the end? We can't do this with a web portfolio, but it's a good start, and I really recommend you to take advantage of this. So don't forget to write comments and ask me whatever you want. I can make a new video on new topics. Or like and subscribe. Ciao.